Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to PSGL Season 26 F6 Round 1. Why does it say Round 1? It means Round 2. My apologies. I've already... It's actually said Round 2 on my PlayStation, so I don't know why it's gone Round 1. I will fix that. But good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're having a nice day as we're starting the F6 grid for round number 2. There we go. Save. There we go. It should be back to normal now. My apologies with that. Well then, as we are loading into the lobby, I wonder how your guys' day is today, and wonder what the weather's going to be like in Hungary, because in F10 it was rain at the end. In F8 right now it's actually intermediate conditions, so wonder how the conditions are going to be. There we go, it is fixed. Well then, while lobby loads, hope you guys are having a nice day. So we'll go on board with the drivers' standings then. With the first round, Khalifa did take the win with 16 points, with Lewis Marshall in second with 12, with Terrorist in third with 10 points, with Legendary fourth with 8, who unfortunately I don't think is here today. It's quite loud. Just gotta make sure is... There we go. Sneaky takes 6th then in the standings right now with 5 points, with Tips in 7th with 4 points, Atomic in 8th with 3 points, Schnitzel 9th with also 3 points, and Finley in 10th with only 1 point. And at the moment it does look pretty cloudy at the moment. Possibly rain, maybe in quali or maybe in the race. Oh, is it? I can't really tell on this. It looks cloudy on my point of view, as there is a car leaving the garage. That is a McLaren, and I believe that is actually Sneaky. And it is actually quite bright actually. On the angle I had it was actually cloudy. Well then, in the constructors standings right now, AlphaTauri leading with 19 points, Mercedes 1 point off them in second place, Alfa Romeo is in third with 11 points, McLaren in fourth with 8 points, tying with Renault with also 8 points, Williams are in sixth with 4 points, however Ferrari, Red Bull, Race Point and Haas all have scored 0. Hopefully that can change. And we are expecting another driver to join through quali, as we're on board with Sneaky, who had a good qualifying session actually last week. Him and his teammate were third and fourth, and I believe his teammate isn't here today, which is unfortunate. So Sneaky then will be taking a bit more of the load on to score McLaren some points, as I think their objective this season is to try and win the constructors and challenge the Mercedes and the Renault team. As he invalidates, but it's on the out lap. So here we go then. He is preparing for his final few corners. Got to get a good exit out of this final corner, run wide as you can. Get a nice tight entry. Accelerate, activate DRS, and begin your qualifying lap. Sneaky has begun. Let's see what he can do then into turn 1. As because get out of the way. Nice tidy exit there from the McLaren of Sneaky. That's a Red Bull actually not that far off him, I believe is also on a lap. Unless that's just Cooper coming out the pits, it's apparently still on an out lap. Nice tidy through the first sector, currently purple. See how he takes the chicane then, a very tricky section. Doesn't really ride the curbs there, avoids them completely. The yellow flags in touch the race, and that's a Ferrari either making a mistake or getting ready for his qualifying lap. However, Sneaky has been focused all the way through sector 2. Nice and tidy exit there as AlphaTauri moves out of the way, and he's still purple in sector 2 of course, as he's now approaching the final couple of corners to set his provisional pole position lap time. As here he comes then round the final corner. And lap time he sets it to 39, so currently pole at the moment. And we're going to go on board with the Racing Point, who takes second place with a 1:14.4. A couple of tenths off there is behind him. Beats that lap time and does a 1:13.9.64. As Terrace then beats that lap time, does a 1:13.8. So lap times are getting beaten quite easily, and they're a lot quicker than F10's grid. As we see Cube there spinning into turn 1. Red Bull driver is not looking comfortable on the setup. As right now though, we'll go on board with Felix, who's actually invalidated, so I don't know if he's gone out on another lap. Although we'll go on board with Ewan McGregor, currently in sector 1 right now, as the other racing point has slowed down near turn 4. Hopefully he can get out of the way for you, Big Boy June. And Big June's not currently up on his time. Good evening, Maurice. It's good to see you here. Big Boy June then, nice and tidy at the moment through sector 2. As he's about to finish the sectors, there's a lot of traffic ahead of him. Hopefully they don't get in his way if they're not on official lap times. Felix actually did peel into the pits eventually. Big Boy June is currently purple in sector 2. Yellows are the Haas moving out the way for the Williams. Let's see what Big Boy June can do, as he was up there last week. I think strategy ruined him. Although nice tidy exit he needs through the final corner. Nice tight entry. Flat out. DRS activated, and let's see what lap time he does. He does a 13.851, a couple of thousandths quicker than Teresa. However, the other Alfa Romeo is in the lead with a 113.716 currently. As right now, though, we'll go on board with Semfi in the Haas. Unfortunately, actually, as invalidated on his lap time, has come into the pits. How about the Diagello, who unfortunately had contact with his teammate last week, and the Ferraris, I believe, both didn't score points. I think with both DNFs, those two did come in the blows, and Jerry unfortunately was the innocent victim and went straight into the barrier and lost his right rear tyre. Although Diego Gello is come back on the medium compound in the Ferrari, hopefully they can have a bit more luck this weekend. As we'll see then. See how he takes the final corner. See if he takes a nice tight line like everybody else has been doing, or he runs a bit wide. Nope, basically copying it. Nice tight entry, DRS activated, and comes to line with a 14.7, takes 10th place, currently a 10th off his teammate who did a lap on SOS with a 14.6. Although both Mercedes drivers are currently out on outlaps, it will be Felix we will go on board with next, who will be the next person on a lap. I don't think the McLarens are on laps at the moment. No, they're not. Oh, here we go then. We'll stay on board with Felix and the number 32, so no longer number 44.77. Let's see how he can take the final corner then. Nice tidy exit, activates DRS, and is beginning his qualifying lap then. As now he comes down to approach turn 1. See what gear he goes. Takes the second, short shift to third, DRS tight, and you've got to go quickly to the right to gain as much time as you can. Now coming up to the turn 2, I call it. As there's yellows, the McLaren there pulls out of the way for the other Mercedes. Nice and tidy at the moment through turn 1, 2 and 3 for Felix, and not purple at the moment in sector 1, so he isn't looking for pole yet. Nice and tidy turn 5, bit of mistake there, correction on the steering wheel as he's now approaching turn 6 and 7 in the chicane. Rides the curbs there, and that's possibly cost him a little bit of time, but he's the only person I've seen done that, riding the curbs at the moment. As yellows in sector 3, that's the Renault preparing for flying lap. It's your 6th gear there, he can take it 7th, as he's currently purple in sector 2, so he's currently challenging for pole position. You keep an eye on Lewis though, as well. He's currently in 17th, not that far behind Felix, as yellows, one of the Red Bulls, moves out of the way. But all the eyes are on this man, Felix Negua, who is coming on the final corner then. What time will it be? A nice tidy lap, and takes 10th there, only a 14.6, so he lost a lot of time. But here comes Lewis Marshall now then, coming to the line, and it is a 13.9, takes 6th place, and he will be happier with that than his teammate, who's currently sitting in 11th place. As we'll go on board with Semfi, who's currently on a lap, the only person who hasn't done a lap time yet in the Haas. As I see how he takes turn 2. nice and tight actually. I would have took a wider entry to take a tighter line to gain a bit more time. Yellow's in sector 2 there. That's one of the Red Bulls who've lost it through turn 5, possibly touching the curb and spinning. Hopefully the Haas driver doesn't make the same mistake as the Mercedes that moves out of the way, which is great to see as General as we on board with Symphony then, who's in 17th, ran on the grass there a little bit on the exit curb. I don't know who the yellow's there for. Is that for the McLaren or is that for the Mercedes? The Sneaky actually did improve. He did a 13.6 actually. I did miss that. My apologies. As Symphony is purple in sector 2. So I've noticed a lot of people are purple in sector 2, and sector 2 maybe not the best for the current top 5 at the moment. Although here comes Symphony then. Round the final corner. See what time he will do. Comes to the line, it does a 14.3, takes 8th place. Was purple in sector 2, green in sector 1, and I think green in sector 3, but he'll be happy then to set a lap time on the board, as we'll go on board with a Racing Point, which actually invalidated, so that's a shame, as then the next person who is on the outlap is the Ferrari, but I think Cooper, no, it's Thomas actually, who's also invalidated. But that is a shame then, as we'll go on board with Cooper right now, who's currently in the lap. He's 16.5 seconds apparently up in sector 1, and that's a definite since he's done a 138.8 in his first banker lap. So we'll go on board with the Red Bull, and I've got to say the Honda engine is the best sounding engine on the grid, especially when it goes up through the gears, as he's purple in sector 2, almost 20 seconds up on his time. See then what lap time Cooper will do. Will he be able to challenge his teammate who's currently in 16th with a 1:17.7? Let's see then. To the line, and he goes 8th with a 1:14.1. 24.6 seconds improvement. Very good lap there from him as he gets traffic of Finley and Felix. Oh, and I think there was a bit of contact there between Finley and Felix. Hopefully Felix hasn't got any wing damage. We'll stay on board. No wing damage on that car at the moment, as we'll go on board with Jerry, who's actually invalidated, who was actually next up on a lap then, as we'll go on the other Racing Point, who's also invalidated yet again as he comes into the pits. We'll go on board with Big Boy Jr. He's actually spun it actually through turn 5, so it looks like he touched the curb or made a mistake on the entry of turn 4, lost complete control of the car, and tried to save it as best as he could, as currently our championship points leader is in 5th place right now with a 1:13.937. So that probably isn't the best lap time for him, as he did say he wasn't actually expecting another podium or race win. Probably just some points. He said it wasn't his best track, but right now he's sitting in 5th, could get some decent points, could get a podium in the race, could even get a win again, as the Mercedes are in 7th and 14th at the moment. As we'll go on board with the Renault of Verheyen, who's also invalidated. What is with people invalidating their lap times? Alright then, we'll go on board with Felix, who's just begun his fine lap, as we've got 6 minutes remaining of the session. As Felix then activates DRS. Nice and tidy exit. As now he approaches turn 2. Any lockups or anything? Oh, a little bit of lockup on the left front. Runs a wide line, which is going to gain him a lot more time. Nice and tidy X there from Felix. He's now approaching up to turn 4. This corner you've got to get right, because it's easy to invalidate. He's currently a 10th up on his first sector. Let's see what he is in sector 2. Nice tidy through turn 5. The rear not kicking out or anything as he now approaches the chicane. Very nice and tidy sections. We'll see how quick he is through the flowing air section of this track. As Yellow's further behind, I believe that's either the AlphaTauri letting the McLaren through. Now pushing the big fast right-hander. Let's see what he is in sector 2. Currently 5/10 up on his lap. Oh, big lock up there. It's going to cost him a little bit of time, as he's now pushing the 2 final corners. Here he comes then. Now for the final corner. What time will it be then? Nice and tidy exit. Doesn't invalidate. And does a 1:13.936, 1,000th quicker than Khalifi, who's currently in 7th place right now. So that is a good lap for him. As actually one of the McLarens of Ron Zeus, I believe, who is a reserve, is in 3rd place right now with a 1:13.837. So he will be happy with that indeed. As we'll go on board with Thomas, currently in 17th place. He's actually peeling into the pits. And I believe everybody else will be on an in-lap. So we'll go on board with the Racing Point, who is beginning his qualifying lap of AJU 14.17. Let's see what that time he can do then on these fresh, soft tyres. It goes up at third a bit early there in turn 1. And he's actually made a mistake, so I think that was actually a mistake, actually short shifting to third a bit too early as he lost a lot of time. However, though, we'll go on board with Jerry, who's currently on a lap in the Ferrari. The Ferrari is currently sitting 15th and 16th right now, and they're hoping for a bit of payback from Australia. He's currently a couple hundred up on his lap time at the moment. And hopefully they can score points this week, as they were looking with the strategy calls they were making, possibly to score points. As he approaches the chicane, nice tidy rides that curb there. As he has the number 22 as the Jensen Button number, as he's very close there of invalidating his lap time, so close to that white line. Nice and tidy through the fast right hander, sector 2, almost 4 tenths up on his lap time, so almost 3.5. As Marie's saying, Felix is not good pace, and I do agree, Felix is actually not showing some good pace, and the same with Lewis Marshall actually as well. I'm quite surprised, as I think Jerry almost lost control there of the Ferrari, but however, he's running around the final corner now. DRS is active, coming to the line. Oh, and for some reason it went to the Racing Point, but he did a 14.1, and it takes 11th place currently. So he is happy, probably happy with that lap, but still not satisfied, as he probably can get further in the top 10. As we wait then, while everybody is in the pits, is AGU on another qualifying lap? Yes, he is. And this time he is happy with turn 1. Let's see what he is in turn 2 then. Takes a tight line. There's two ways to take that corner. Either take a nice and tight entry or take a wide entry where you can get a lot of time and avoid a little bit of the dirty air. As he's purple in sector 1, and he's almost 2 tenths up. 1 3/4 up on his time at the moment of tenths. Could be on a winner and possibly get close to his teammate, I believe, of Big Boy June. In sector 2, almost 7 tenths up on his time. Where has he found this pace from? And he didn't score points with his teammate yesterday, actually. He didn't start last week, actually. So we may have another title contender possibly this season. Big Boy Jones currently sitting in 4th place, but what about AJU? Will he be able to challenge for pole position? Comes to the line, and here's Paul with the 1:13.517, and he will be thrilled with that, with 1 minute and 34 seconds remaining in the session, and that his is qualifying over. However, we will go on board with... Oh, Terrace actually beats it as a person I was actually going to go on board with. Takes pole position with a 1:13.4. However, what about Finley? He is in sector 2, and there's yellows further ahead with the Racing Point and a Renault. Hopefully they didn't come to blows. As we'll just keep an eye on that. That's the Racing Point of AG. Oh, massive lock up there from Finley, struggling with the conditions right now on the softs. Actually, he's got massive wing damage. I didn't even notice that, and he comes into the pit, so that's his lap game over then. As we'll go on board with the McLaren. Actually, who's ahead of who? Actually, no, we'll go on board with Big Boy June. As Ron Zeus is next, as Raf has joined the session, so that was the driver who was running a little bit late. Although Big Boy June is the first car ahead of the McLaren, and he's currently... and he invalidates. He was at 600 up on his lap time, and that's his lap over then. Oh, as actually, he's gone straight into the barrier with frustration. Hopefully that doesn't affect anybody's lap. You can't really do that. Although Ron Zeus currently on a good lap time, is sneaky yet again, showing his pace in the McLaren is good. He's currently in 3rd place right now, and I think he's actually finishing his lap time. So we'll keep an eye on both McLarens then, as he's apparently 3 tenths up on his lap time. Could challenge for pole. As he comes sneaking around the final corner. See what the McLarens can do. See if they can get a 1-2 this weekend. Sneaky takes 2nd place with 13.459. As we'll go on board with Ron Zeus, who's currently the reserve for the McLaren. comes around the final corner. What time will it be for him? And it's a 13.509. Takes third place right behind his teammate. And we'll go on board with Felix Negwa, who I believe... Actually, no, it's Schnitzel who's next, actually. My bad. Schnitzel in the AlphaTauri, who is up next on a qualifying lap. Then it will be Tibson, I believe. As he's coming around the final corner then. See what time he will do. And takes 8th place currently with a 1:13.9. And Tibson with a 1:14.5 currently. Is he up on his time? And it's a 14.1. Does move up a position. But only a little bit of an improvement there. So then we will go on board. Actually, Felix is actually retired, so he's not happy with his lap. So Felix will be either 9th or in 10th. As here comes Lewis Marshall. Now around the final corner, is he going to beat his teammate? And he does. He does a 13.6, goes 6th place. Felix drops to 10th now. And I think the best place to start at Hungary. Probably the best place is to start in 11th. To go on a different compound of tyre. As apparently Jerry's actually on an outlap. As the timing has finished. Oh, he has retired. Okay, so it wasn't just me. And that is qualifying over then for PSGL F6 at round 2 at Hungary. Jerry there parks his Ferrari up. Alright then, as we will go on board with the official results. Tyrrell then takes pole position with 13.423. 300ths up on Sneaky, who runs us 800ths off that. Wow, the grid is quite close for the top 4 of AJU in 4th place. Khalifi in 5th, 1.5 tenths down. Lewis Marshall 2.5 tenths down in 6th place. So, a bit of a gap there between Khalifi, and Khalifi said it wasn't his best track. He's done well to take 5th. Finley in 7th. Unfortunately, couldn't improve on his lap time. Big Boy June in 8th place. Schnitzel in 9th. Felix Negwar, disappointing day for him in 10th. Verheyen in 11th. Jerry, a better start in the Ferrari in 12th. Cooper in 13th, Tibson 14th, Thomas in 15th, Senfai in 16th, and Diego Gello, who went on mediums for the whole of quali, did a 14.773 and rounds up the back of the grid with Raj, I believe, or Raf, I believe, in the other car, whatever car it is, picked him in 18th, I believe. Well done. While we wait for the loading screen, my race prediction then, I think Terra Racer is going to walk away with it. I think today's yet again qualified on pole. I did say he would do well last week, but he didn't get the win. But I think he can get the win today. I think he's got the pace to do it with possibly AJU second, and I'm going to go with Sneaky third and Khalifi fourth. But if Sneaky or AJU comes into bother in the race, then I think Khalifi could get a podium position again. But let's see what the Mercedes can do. Is currently they're 6th and 10th at the moment for disappointing qualifying for both drivers. Well then, as we start the formation lap now. As the light goes green for the formation lap then to begin. Nobody has stalled or anything, and we do have 18 drivers then. So, for some reason my control again. Right then, so we will go down the grid yet again then. The top 10. Teresa in first on soft tyres, Sneaky second, so the McLaren slot second and third. AJU is in 4th place in the racing point. Khalifi in 5th, looking for a good result today. Lewis Marshall in 6th, not his best qualifying, he's a qualified pole and locked a 1-2 with his teammate last week in Austria. Finley is in 7th, Big Boy June is in 8th in the racing point, actually being beaten by his teammate this week. As Schnitzel is in 9th. Felix Negwar, a disappointing 10th place for him. He won't be happy with that at all. Verheyen in 11th. Jerry in the Ferrari in 12th, looking to score Ferrari's first point this weekend and this season. Cooper is in 13th. Tibson 14th place in the Williams, as Thomas is in 15th in the Red Bull. And Senfai in 16th. Couldn't really get that Haas under control. And Diego Gello there in 17th, who qualified on mediums, didn't go on the softs at all. And it's very interesting that everybody in the top 10's on softs. Everybody who didn't make it in the top 10, all on medium tyres, including Raf, who's in 18th in the Renault. Well then, if you guys do want to put your prediction of your race winners and podium, do leave them down in the comments. I'd like to see who you think could win and get podiums today. As Terrace then comes around the final corner to line up on the grid. very thrilling race. 35 laps, non-stop action, hopefully. Hopefully fights every single lap as we're about to begin. I've got a very dodgy camera angle. As everyone should have lined it up then. And the sequence of lights will be starting very soon. Down to 2 lights, 3 lights now, 4 lights now, 5 red lights as the drivers are revving up their engines. And we're about to begin the PSGL Season 26 F6 Round 2 race at Hungary. And it looks like Sneaky has had an alright start, but has actually dropped down actually to run Zeus, who's actually getting challenged by the racing point there of AGU as the grid's all messed up with the track not actually registering. As it's actually AJU there, I believe, challenging the McLaren. Oh, and there's a crash further behind, and that is a McLaren. That's Ron Zeus there. Got massive chunk of damage, and that is going to be disappointing for him because he qualified in 3rd place there, and that will be very disappointing as it actually is AGU in 3rd place. We'll go on board with them right now with Sneaky currently in 2nd place as the train has kept within, and the only incident we've had so far is Ron Zeus. Big Boy Junior's actually lost position to 17th. Now there's a safety car for some reason, and that's Cooper losing control of the car, and no retirement or anything. Has he lost his full front wing? We'll stay on board and see if we can see if he's lost his front wing. It looks like he may have. And yes, he has no front wing at all, so that's what the safety car is for, and the safety car is out. And that will be interesting to tyre strategies. Will they go on hard tyres and go soft to the end, or will they do medium-medium? No, for Cooper, it'll have to be soft, or medium-soft to the end. Or medium-hard for Cooper right now, as he will not be happy for what has happened at the moment. As a few drivers are peeling into the pits, AJU, Khalifi, and Lewis Marshall. All into the pits. The highest medium runner right now is behind him in 6th place, and the Mercedes are going for a new front wing change. So Lewis Marshall possibly was involved in that incident with Ron Zeus, and got a bit of wing damage from it. Although Felix Negwa has actually had an excellent start. Bad qualifying, but excellent start. Currently in 4th place right now from starting in 10th place. So this is good to see for Felix. And he is right where he wants to be for the championship fight. He has got his championship rivals all around him. And Khalifi also pits on hard with AJU as well. Lewis Marshall, however, goes on a medium tyre. Same with Big Boy Jewin. And Cooper and Ron Zeus also go on the hard tyre. So they are going for the race to the end, possibly. However, Lewis Marshall and Big Boy Jewin going for the 2-stop, which would be interesting, medium, since they can do that, since they started on soft tyres. However then, let's wait for the rest of the field to catch up, and hopefully the safety car doesn't stay out too long. I would like to get back to racing straight away, and I was quite surprised actually how quickly this safety car did come out, especially for that kind of incident. I would expect if it was 2 retirements or a retirement and it was unsafe on track, then yeah, I'd expect safety car, but just the spin and losing a bit of front wing, I would have expected a VSC. However, look, while we wait on the safety car at the moment, as yellows are still being waved, hopefully the collision from Cooper's end has been cleared, as he is on the hard tyres. It's quite surprising that some Big Boy Junior actually went mediums, and AJU, Khalifi, Cooper, or as Chris, and Ron Zeus all went on hard tyres. Very interesting that they went on those tyres. Those hards can go to the end, but it'll be a push to at least they'll be dead near the end and possibly punches. Oh, as Lewis Marshall just got rear-ended by Cooper. I don't know what Harry Cooper was playing at. He just went right into him, and actually that might have been AJU as well. Apparently he rear-ended. Did he rear-end him? No wing damage, so I don't know what happened there. Lewis Marshall just got completely rear-ended, and that is a shame. He has to serve his 5-second, which in my opinion should be removed, but unfortunately he has to serve it. So that is a shame, and gets a new front wing. That's his 2nd front wing. He's costing Mercedes a lot of money in that team as he comes out on hard tyres this time. But he got rear-ended from Cooper. I don't know what Cooper was playing at there. And he got no damage, so I don't know if that was Big Boy Jewin who did it. That's weird. That might have been lag, actually, to be honest. As Lewis then has got a lot to do on those hard tyres then, as I believe we should start this lap. Right now, Teres is sitting where he wants to be at the moment, as he did take third last week. If he won this race, he would have 26 points, so he would take the lead of the championship by 10 points from Khalifi if he was the only one who finished the race. But don't count out Sneaky and Felix and them. They're going to be not that far off, as Ron Zeus has got a 5-second penalty for the collision with Cooper. Cooper is going in AI. I don't know why he's going in AI. Maybe that was the AI what caused collision with Lewis. That's interesting, actually. Well, the safety car, I think, is going in this lap then, as it didn't pop up on my screen unless I missed it. Although Teres is preparing the grid, ready to start the Grand Prix yet again, and no more safety car. As he is warming up his tyres, backing everybody up with the McLaren. They almost got rimmed by Finley, Teres' teammate. And here comes Teres now, gets a decent exit, and he goes green, green, green as he starts lap number 4. As Sneaky didn't get really that much of a good start, as we'll go further down the grid. Felix may be under threat further behind. There's a Ferrari there making a move. Jerry there making a move, possibly on behind him for 6th place in the Renault. Oh, touching tyres. Luckily, he didn't make a spin. Jerry's still there, activating his overtake button. Probably going to go around the outside. Brakes early. Possibly going to try the switch back. Sees a gap. Can't make it work at the moment. He's going to have to stay behind. Currently in 6th place right now, as there's fights all over the track. As the other Ferrari there, Diaghiero, in 11th place. Currently good result of the Ferrari at the moment, especially if they can score points today. Although there's yellow flags behind. That's Cooper. Cooper has gone. Oh, I can get quickly to Ron Zeus. He's lost it through turn 4. So he's gone straight to the barrier, maybe. And that is a shame. That possibly was involved with Raf, who's currently in 16th. Let's see if he's got front wings. We have the Rev glitch. And there's wing damage. So the Renault had collision with Cooper. And Cooper won't be happy, and definitely will be reporting that as we go back on board for the battle for P6, P5 actually. All the battles, all if actually for the lead. Right now though, we'll keep an eye out. Blue actually lost position to the AJUs, actually on hard tyres, so I'm surprised I switched Teres. That's currently new fast lap 118.203. We'll come back racing. No overtakes yet. What about the boy doing? No overtakes at the moment. It's just staying behind each other. Lewis Marshall is in his own world, as he's currently going to be fighting very soon with the championship points leader. As Raf peels into the pits then for a front wing change. Schnitzel is staying close to Felix. Oh, and he makes a mistake actually through turn 4, which cost him a little bit of time. That's actually the Reynolds looking a bit feisty on Schnitzel, and he tried to make an attempt move in the chicane, but behind him needs to know that he needs to confirm that move, because one little mistake, Jerry can easily make the move, and same with Tipson. Behind him is closing up, makes the move now on Schnitzel, 4P5. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh, Jerry also gets through cheekily. Round the outside he's going now. Great move there from the Ferrari. Great instincts to see there of a gap. As now he's next target will be behind him in 5th place. DRS now has been enabled. Has DRS at the moment. Any moves further behind? Not at the moment. Actually, yes, there is. There is the Haas of Semfi. Going on the inside of Thomas. Moves into P9, so it's great to see the Haas there. Trying to score points for his team for this week, as they didn't score points last week. Right now, Thomas is in 10th place. Oh, and the Williams there gets on the curb a little bit. As we go on board with Semfi right now, possibly could challenge Tipson and Schnitzel very soon, as Tipson's really struggling to try and get past this right now, as Ron Zeus sets the new fastest start, 117.971. As Tipson's possibly going to make a move in the chicane, not at the moment. So I think Schnitzel's soft tyres, I don't think the plan was to stay on the softs. His soft tyres now are starting to die out, and he's struggling with grip, as you can see there. The entry in the turn, the F section there, is really struggling on those soft tyres. The softs may be already overheating, and Hungary is quite easy to overheat your tyres. That's usually why the strategy is medium to hard. As right now though, for 1. The gap has spread a little bit now, around about a second, as Sneaky's actually peeling into pits for the undercut, which could be a very strong strategy. He's the only person who's pitting. As long as he don't get caught in traffic, he could make this strategy work. As Tibbs now is eyeing a move on the AlphaTauri of Schnitzel. It looks like Schnitzel doesn't have straight line speed, doesn't really defend that much, gives the position. Now Senfi's possibly looking for an overtake, as now Schnitzel's actually trying to attack Tibbs yet again, but here comes Senfi round the outside, switching, sees the gap, plants his car in there, but Schnitzel got better traction. Ooh, almost loses actually through turn 3. Now the approach turn 4, and that's soft. Ooh, nice. Senpai actually almost lost it, and this almost opened the gap for Thomas, and Diego Gello there, almost trying to make moves. This fight is really heating up. Felix there is in his own little world currently right now in 3rd place. We'll go on board with the battle for the lead or 2nd place if it closes up. And actually we'll go on board with the gap to the leader from Sneaky, 20.8 seconds, right about a 20-second pit stop round here. So he's getting a little bit of time. We'll go on board with Senfi right now, who's trying to make a move. Schnitzel peels into the pits. He doesn't need a pit in the pits, however. And Teresa comes into the pits then. Thomas now as under threat by Diego Gello. Now let's have a look. Oh, actually, Lewis Marshall is actually making a move on Khalifi round the outside. They touch ties a little bit and can't make the move right now. However, we're on board with Sneaky. He is out. Will he be able to challenge Teresa into turn 1? No, Teresa keeps it out on the hard compounded tyre. And good outlap there, in-lap there for Teresa, since he realised Sneaky was doing the undercut. Now as Lewis Marshall picks his first penalty, as Khalifi is currently in 11th place. However, we will go on board with the fight for the lead right now. Felix Negua is now starting to reel in his opponent. Currently 3/10 at the moment, 3.5 tenths roughly. And you can see Finley is a little bit slower than him, but this may be a tactic for the Alfa Romeo team to try and score the most points they can to try and confirm a 1-3 or a 1-2. And this could be disappointing for the Merc team. As right now though, he is trying to close the door on Finley. But will they peel into the pits? Finley is pitting, so is Felix. That was a late call there for Felix. As behind and Jerry don't need a pit since on me. Oh, Felix actually almost loses it there. Touching the curb. And into the pits they go. Stay on board with these two. Let's see who's got the best mechanics in the pit stops. As Felix leaves his garage. And the Alfa Romeo team still get ahead, luckily. But what about Teresa, as he is about to pass them, and Sneaky also gets past, so they've lost so much time at the moment, as now we will go on board for the fight for the lead right now. It's currently between Verheinen and Jerry, the Ferrari, who retired at Austria last week, is now challenging the Renault for the lead at the moment, which isn't the net lead. Teresa is currently the net leader in 11th place. The gap between him and the leader is around about 16.6 seconds. So Verheinen plays his cards right, he needs to pick up the pace a little bit on these mediums to try and keep the lead if he wants to try and win this race, as the mediums are cutting the hards for a couple more laps at least. Now there's fights all over the place. There's a massive train there for Tipson for 3rd. Won't do pits yet. As I believe the medium pit window will be going about lap 15 to lap 14. As Jerry now is getting a lot closer, not using his overtake, he's just staying with him. However, we'll go on board with Tipson there, who's defending from Senfi. He's currently for 3rd place. Senfi there, Senfi tries to switch, can't make it work on traction at the moment, and has to settle with 4th place, and has to wait his turn for another lap, as they're losing a bit of time now to the top two. Currently 2.7 seconds, and now got back to the actual leader between Teresa and behind 16.3 seconds. Right now, so the gap's basically stayed the same. Ooh, Senfi makes a mistake. That's possibly a warning. As the car's getting really close, you just throw a blanket over. Yeah, nice train there, the camera shot of the Ferraris, and actually Lewis almost loses it through the curb there. Have a look. The Ferrari of PSGL will be happy with 6th, and his teammate is currently in 7th, so it could be good points for a Ferrari if the race finished like this. Jerry's still staying with him to stay out for another lap. As PSGL's peeling into pits quite early on mediums, actually. Going for the undercut, so I think he's going on the hard compounded tyre. We'll keep an eye on that, unless Timpson actually almost going to get past. Not at the moment, but he peels into the pits. We'll keep an eye on Jerry. Yeah, he's on the hards, so he's going hards. And going to the end of this race. Although back to the battle for the lead with Jerry. Schnitzel just gets ahead of PSGL out of the pit lane there. Now it's actually PSGL has actually got a lot of time with Schnitzel there. Oh, Jerry almost loses it on the exit curve of turn 5. And the Renault is looking very comfortable in the lead right now. Gap to leader from Verheyen to Terrace at 15.9 seconds. So even the hards, maybe a bit slow right now, but they're still staying in with them because they're in clean air. And these two are clean air, but their mediums are now starting to die out. Oh, Jerry actually just completely off the track there. People are trying on Go Sneaky, and Go Sneaky indeed. Currently in 11th right now, 1.3 seconds off the net leader at the moment. Nobody else peels into the pits yet. Yes, there is. There's a Red Bull. That's Thomas in the pits doing an undercut. Same as what PSGL did. And he's getting served right now as we go on board with Timpson, who's still holding 3rd place at the moment. So he's really close, and if he wants to make a move now, it now is his chance, because he's losing so much time behind the Williams right now. As Marie says, go Felix. As we were trying to go Sneaky, go Felix. And right now, sorry for live, so one text message is Big Boy doing that. Is 3/10 at least right now, catching up on Senfi in 4th place. He's trying to get past Timpson as Jerry and Verheyen are 4 seconds. Gap to leader from Verheyen and the Terrace at 15.6 now. So they've lost a little bit more time. A little bit of lock up there from Big Boy June, however, though he's keeping up with Senfi right now. P3 Williams. Well, Timpson's doing a very good job to hold the position. He's basically parking it for the top 2 right now. He's trying to pull away to try and help them actually to be in a fight for the win. And it's not really working. It's good evening, Hype. Welcome back to the F6 stream. He's waiting for one little mistake from these two. Plus fight we do have on track right now. Oh, somebody runs wide. Luckily doesn't lose the exit curve there. Leader gap at the moment from Verheyen to Terrace at 15.2 seconds. Still not good enough. He needs to make it at least 20, and he's losing too much time now. As Cooper has called it a day then, as he's the only person to retire in this race. And actually, speaking about someone bottling, Raf has left the session, so he's rage quit and won't be happy with 17th. So we have 2 DNFs now, technically. Actually Lewis Marshall there moves in the 6th as we missed that as he makes the move round the outside. Oh, almost rear-ends Big Boy June. Big Boy June's in AI. Why is Big Boy June in AI? Big Boy June is probably going to get a penalty for that. He was not allowed to be in AI. He's got wing down. He's cost a few of the drivers some positions. As now, what's going on with AJU? What's he doing? What are the Racing Point drivers doing? Okay, I think that it needs to be investigated by the PSGL stewards there. You can't do that. I understand if you're angry, but you can't just go and slow down your teammate because he's cost you a race. Like, that's just that about it. I've got Sempi now in third place, as he's got a bit of a gap now to Lewis Marshall. I don't know what happened there from the Racing Point team. They will definitely be getting investigated by the FIA. Oh, Sempi almost loses it there. Good save there from him, and doesn't end into the barrier. As they still we're keeping an eye on the gap to the leader now. Around about 14.9 seconds. Again, a couple more tenths this time as Raf's AI has paid. And actually, I know it hasn't. No, the Ferrari's beached. As Joey there beats himself on the grass, resets the track. I have never seen that. And that's going to cost Ferrari a lot of points, and he will be devastated with that as he's lost a big chunk of his front wing. Sempi peels into the pit stand for the undercut on Tipson to try and beat him out. Lewis Marshall's currently 8.8 seconds, and I don't know what Jerry's doing. What is Jerry doing? And I think he's either doing donuts or getting up, and he's retiring. Okay then, what is going on today, guys? Sandra Sohab, the bottle hog, the famous person who got disqualified in the evaluation race, is saying go on Lewis Marshall, currently in third place right now, 9 seconds off Tipson. He's actually getting caught a little bit by Khalifi right now, and Torres is not that far. He's actually not 9 seconds off Tipson, he's 3 seconds off Tipson because that's on gap to the leader. However, I don't know what is going on with the drivers today. I don't know if it's April Fools or whatever, but something's not right. Lewis Marshall has to keep an eye on his mirrors. One little mistake could open the door for Khalifi. Will Verheyen peel into the pits? Verheyen stays out for another lap now. 14 laps on those mediums. And Lewis Marshall actually could go to the end. So actually saying that, Lewis Marshall could be the net leader right now actually. I didn't actually count this in. If Lewis Marshall is careful with his tyres, he could get another win. Well, could get a win and take the lead in the championship and help the Mercedes team do well. As right now, Lewis Marshall's teammate's currently in 8th place, 5 seconds. Actually, Tipson peels into pit stand, so he actually moves into 7th. That's 1.8 seconds off Finley. I do agree there, Hyped. I don't think the hards are the best strat, to be honest. But they have worked before for some drivers. Some people may be able to make the hard work better than the mediums. It depends on the driver's preference, of course. But however, Khalifi is now catching up on Lewis. So Lewis must be now slowing down to try and cool off his tyres or keep the tyre wear as minimum as possible. As he's in second place behind and 8.9 seconds up the road. Let's look at gap leader yet again from Terrace. So 14.5 seconds. So the gap hasn't really changed at the moment. So Verheyen is doing a very good job in the lead right now. And if a safety car did come out, like, well, I would say now, would possibly help him as Verheyen then comes into the pit stand for his scheduled stop. Lewis doesn't pit, neither does Khalifi. I wouldn't expect them to, since they are in the Merc and AlphaTauri on the hard tyres. As they go on board with Terrace now then, who's not that far off these two, and will get ahead of Verheyen, who's now exiting the pit lane on hard tyres. So that is interesting, as did he actually start? Is this his first stop? It is his first stop, so he couldn't go medium. So he's going to meet the hards now to the end. However, his hards will be fresher than the drivers ahead of him, and isn't really in that much traffic as Felix is in 6th. Verheyen drops to 7th place. We get a nice nose cam angle there, as now Sneaky is closing the gap to Teresa, who's currently in 3rd. Sneaky's actually up on his personal best, 1.5 tenths up on his time at the moment. So he is picking up the pace a little bit, as apparently there's blue flags there. I don't know why. I think that's for the Renault of Raf AI there, who's getting out of the way. As Lewis Marshall is currently in the lead. Right now, Sneaky. There's lost a little bit of time now to Terrace. Now 1.1 seconds. Just trying to get within that DRS range. Now to say use that bit of that overtake, but he can't keep up with him at the moment. Still not within DRS range, and he's going to have to deal with it for now. However, we're going to go on board with Khalifi, who's now challenging Lewis Marshall, possibly for the lead. Now, as they do realise now they are getting caught quite quickly by the net leaders, who are currently in 3rd place. Khalifa there is keeping up with him. Actually, I might have a reason why they're actually on hard tyres. I've heard there's a possibility of rain in the race, as I was reading a bit of the chat between the racing point drivers. But there's a possibility of rain. Doesn't look like it's closing as it's bright and sunny, so I don't know why he said that. However, there is rain possibility approaching the track, probably in the next 10 laps time. I'll have a look. Khalifi is a bit close down to Lewis Marshall. Will the AlphaTauri take the win yet again? 2 wins in a row. Possibly. Oh, Lewis Marshall, late defensive move there, and that's great. Racing the seal. Khalifi locks up. Lewis Marshall tries to switch back, can't make it work. Lewis gets in a fourth gear, not enough traction, and Khalifi shows him who is boss there and takes pole position currently right now. Takes the lead of the race. Lewis Marshall drops to second, and basically this is like the championship order right now. Actually, I believe exactly like the championship order. Except Legende is not here. He's actually would have been fourth, but the top 3, I believe, is the championship order. Yeah, top 3 is the championship order then. Right now is Khalifi. He's got a problem with Lewis Marshall catching up, and also got Terrace also catching up slowly. Right now then, Lewis Marshall is actually pitting. Why is he pitting? Those hearts definitely go to the end, so I think he's, with the rain possibly due, if it is true, of course, like, is he going mediums? Yes, he is, so he's going mediums until the end, and that now, for some reason, it's not letting me pick Khalifa. There's Terrace then on the hard, in second place, sneaking out, moves into third. Finley moves into fourth. Felix now got in fifth, behind him now is in sixth place. Now, if there was rain due and behind in pit, I would have gone another set of mediums and gone until the rain period is near. But it could be like a few races where the rain could be the final few laps. So, as behind is actually keeping up with Felix Negol. Currently 2 tenths right now. The closest fight we have on track for P5. Mistake there, I think, from the Reynolds. Ooh, bit of a lock up there from the Ferrari, Diego Gello. Now Verheyen is closing up on Felix. Is approaching for the attack, just waiting for one little mistake from Felix, and this is what fresh hards can do. They may not be the best type to use, but when they are fresh compared to old hards, they're going to have a bit of pace. And here comes behind them, looks on the inside, goes back, and oh, the Ferrari there almost rear ends him. Very close there from the Ferrari, and luckily avoids the Renault and doesn't cause a massive crash. However, Lewis Marshall and Snitchell find it out for 12. Yet again, as he gets the move done on very easy on fresh mediums. Diego Gello is closing back up on behind and getting really close between these three. Sneaky still in the gap between Terrace, 1.2 seconds, and Finley actually can't catch up with Sneaky at the moment. The gaps are spread out quite quickly there, and the gap between Terrace and Khalifi is 2.5 seconds, and actually Khalifi is pulling away. So Khalifi is doing a good job at the moment in the lead as Khalifi picks a 3-second penalty there, and again exceeds track limits on that fast right-hander. As Verheyen has lost a little bit of time out of Felix, not that close as he was. And that could jeopardise the position from the Ferrari if the Ferrari gets a good enough exit. And yes, he does. He's a lot closer than what Verheyen was to Felix. And here comes the Ferrari now. ready to attack. Possibly go for a dive. No, yes, he actually does. Sends it. Oof, very close. Nice and clean racing. And Lewis Marshall sets a new fastest start, 1:17.640. And Diego Geller just sends it into turn 2. Verheyen sees this. Good spatial awareness from these two as they go side by side. Oh, very close. Oh, there's contact. And there's a crash there. Verheinen's out. Verheyen has been taken out by Diego Geller, and there's a late safety car there. As it was clean racing, and yet again, Diego Geller has been involved in controversy. Yet again, colliding with another car and unfortunately retiring him with the contact what has been given. That'll definitely be investigated in assurance as a safety car. Then probably has helped Lewis Marshall a little bit, although he ain't really going to gain any position since they've pitted. However, though, will Khalifi pit? Yes, Khalifi pits. What about Tyrese? Will he follow Khalifi in? Yep, he goes in. So Khalifi is still going to be our net leader unless Finley stays out. So is the AlphaTauri going on then? AlphaTauri crew going on the mediums, and away they go. The AlphaTauri has a good slick pit stop as the Alfa Romeo serves their driver in the garage. And actually Thomas actually hasn't pit. He is stayed out and he has got ahead of the AlphaTauri and is currently leading this race on 10 laps old hards. He definitely can go to the end, and he is going to be an interesting key player in with this fight. Senpai there goes third. Lewis Marshall moves to fourth on fresh mediums as well. So Khalifi and Lewis are going to be very quick and going to be able to get through the pack quite easily, especially with the guys who are on hard tyres. And the person who said there's rain possibility, I don't think it is going to rain. There's no way, unless there's a massive cloud approach from nowhere. It looks like it's going to stay sunny for the rest of the race. While we're at the safety car, I'm just going to let as while we wait then, under the safety cars, we'll go through a grid reset then. Thomas then is in the lead, currently in first place on 10 lap old hards. Khalifi on fresh mediums in second, will be challenging him straight away when the safety car comes in. Senpai in third on 7 lap old hards. Lewis Marshall on 2 lap old mediums, so fresh mediums but not the freshest. Teres on fresh mediums in 5th place, Sneaky in 6th on fresh mediums, same with Felix in 7th, with Finley in 8th, Diego Geller in 9th, with the reason the safety car came out with the contact with the McLaren. Tipton then in 10th place, is in a points position, was looking for a few more points in this race as Ron Zeus, with the crash he had at the start, in 11th. Tetzel is in 12th and Sayai is in 13th, so we only have 12 runners remaining of this race. I do like to actually leave penalties to be a surprise to the end. I don't really like to ruin the race for everybody. I have mentioned penalties which have been picked up. I know Lewis has got 1. I don't really want to spoil the race for everybody. What was the pole lap time? I think it was a 13. Yeah, it was a 13.4. 3.7 I think, or 5, something like that. But it was a 13.4, and it was a very good lap there. And McLaren's actually got 2nd and 3rd in the end. Just replying to someone. And safety car is in this lap then. As Tom then is keeping the pack in a steady pace. He can go as slow as he wants. He can even go 1 mile an hour if he wanted to. As he's now about to start the final lap. He has gone. He can't brake now. He has bolted, and Khalifi's managed to keep up with him. And same with Senfi, Lucas, Marshall and Terrace as we go green, green, green yet again at Hungary on lap 25. And Lewis Marshall is looking feisty, already making a move. Lewis sends it on Senfi, side by side. Oh, a bit of touching with the tyre there on that side pod, moves into 3rd place. Lewis Marshall needs this and needs to get ahead of Khalifi because he said he had his race win robbed by Khalifi last weekend. He doesn't want to lose another victory by the same person. As Khalifi now currently in 2nd place, challenging Thomas, who's in the lead on hard tyres. Those fresh mediums are going to feel beautiful compared to Thomas's hards. Right now then, these two are getting closer and closer, as we could see a side move possibly in the chicane, which I highly doubt, but could happen. As the Renault AI is being already dropped. As Khalifi then, it's a little bit of time there actually, and Thomas picks up a penalty there. So that's a shame there for Thomas, and locks up a little bit there into the final couple of corners, as we're going to be starting lap 26 very soon. And I'm surprised not a lot of overtakes have happened. There is a lot of people on the same tyre. There's only a few odd little people on hards like Senfi, Thomas and the AI RAF, so it's going to be interesting. Now Khalifi then, DRS is still not active, so he's going to have to trust straight line speed. He's getting close. Could he send a lunge into turn 1? He's going to the inside, opens the door, locks up, brakes as early as he can to just avoid contact, and unfortunately has to stay behind for another lap. However though, these two have managed to pull away from Lewis Marshall, who's currently in 3rd place right now, with Senfi in 4th, Terrace 5th, Sneaky is in 6th, Big Sneggot is still in 7th place with Finley in 8th. Lewis Marshall there picks up another penalty. That's his 2nd penalty of the race. He's really not liking the track limits, and I have to agree, the track limits are a bit harsh this season, but you've got to be careful and push as much as you can without cutting corners. Now I've got Khalifi. You can just see he wants another victory on his belt. And no one mentioned Khalifi for a chance for the Drivers' Championship this season. He was not really picked in pre-season. I don't believe he did that well, but in the 1st round he took the win, possibly could take the win in the 2nd round. And right now he is trying his best to do that, and he needs to overtake the Red Bull as soon as possible before Lewis Marshall gets so close behind him that he can make a double overtake and take the lead. As DRS now is being activated for the next lap. Unfortunately it's not activated for this lap, which is a shame. And on me right now as Lewis Marshall now is in striking distance. One little mistake from Khalifi now can easily make Lewis Marshall make a move, and Senfi's somehow still holding 4th place, which is actually astonishing right now in the Haas. That was 4 at the hards, would have died off by now, especially against the mediums. And he is holding the position right now as there's a massive train for basically the lead of this race. Lewis Marshall's getting a little bit close now to Khalifi. Khalifi can now feel the pressure a little bit, and it's probably getting to him as he needs to make the move as soon as possible. He's on lap 27, we'll be on lap 28 very soon, and he can use his DRS. As Lewis Marshall is getting really close, we'll go on board with Lewis right now, as you can just see he's a lot more comfy on the mediums. Got a little bit more ERS to play with, just a little bit more. Right now, I think he's going to wait his turn, or could go for a striking attempt if these two can't get past each other, if he's got enough straight line speed. However, Khalifi got a better exit, and he's really close to that gearbox now. He could almost touch it. Nice and tight entry, and look at they so close to each other, and now he makes the move on the final corner, and straight away now he moves into the lead of this race. Thomas drops to 2nd. What about Lewis Marshall? Could he go for a late lunge? Yes he is, he's going for a late dive, but can't make it work. Has to watch out for Senfi now, who's possibly trying to attack him for 3rd place. Lewis knows what could happen. This could cost him the championship later on in the round. He knows what it's like to be fighting for a championship. Lewis Marshall knows he needs to get past this Red Bull if he wants to try and win this race But he's also going to have to watch out for Terrorist, Sneaky, and Felix Negua in 5th, 6th, and 7th. As soon as they get past Sempi, they're going to be on his rear end very quickly. Lewis Marshall is getting really a bit impatient now to try and get past Thomas, and Khalifa's already pulling away 1.2 seconds away. Oh, almost rear ends him. Bit of contact, I think, actually, as well there. Thomas rear end snapped a little bit. This is getting really impatient right now, and I don't want to blame him, really. Sempi's right behind him now, and one little mistake for Lewis could cost him. That's the fight further behind between the final points position between Ron Zoot and Tipson. Right now, Ron Zoot is trying to fight for it. Lewis Marshall now is in DRS range, and he surely should have the move, but he doesn't really have the straight line speed, so he's going to have to launch it into turn 1. He sends it. Oh, and there's contact there between the Mercedes and the Red Bull there. Almost wing damage could have been inflicted there. That was a bit cheeky there from Lewis Marshall, and maybe investigated by the stewards. Oh, and now look at Sempi on the hards challenging Thomas now. Moves into 3rd place. The Haas really wants to score points today as it was side by side. We saw somebody else score side by side earlier between a Renault and a Ferrari, and it ended in disaster as they still was side by side almost in turn 4. As DRS now seen an easy meal on Sempi. Oh, he gets punted by Sneaky in the McLaren there. He probably didn't really like that as he was trying to possibly make a move on Sempi, and he almost rear ends him as the hard tyres. Oh, the guys on the hards going really slow right now as Lewis Marshall now needs to focus and catch up with Khalifa 2.2 seconds up the road, who's still pulling away even though Lewis Marshall is in clean air. As here comes Terrace now, really eyeing up his prey, just waiting to make a move on the big long straight of Sempi right now, or even make a move on the final corner like Khalifa did to Thomas. And also noticing on that Alfa Romeo, that rear end is a bit unstable. And I noticed a lot of people struggling with the rear end at this track. And now here comes Terrace now. Has he got the straight line speed? No, he doesn't. Sempi is holding his own. So Terrace is going to have to wait. Oh, almost sends it. And almost rear ends him there. As now we're on board with Thomas, who's on his own in 3rd place. Got a bit of a gap to Lewis and a bit of gap to Sempi. So he's not under threat at the moment, but will be soon if he doesn't pick up the pace. Although Khalifa's gap's being shrunk a little bit now, 2 seconds the gap is. As my voice is starting to go. Lewis Marshall then 2.2 seconds, and I lost a couple of tenths in the S section. As Khalifa is now starting to pick up the work. There's 1 lap 30, only a couple more laps of this race to go. Something that's, I'm still surprised how Thomas is empty, just holding this massive train. And this is throwing a massive spanner in the works, that late safety car. And it's helped Lewis Marshall and Khalifa. Sempi now is under a little bit more pressure now from the Alfa Romeo. Cheers, TTP Cortez. I did let him know 113.4, but thanks for the confirmation. Sempi there in 4th place right now is looking to challenge Thomas to get a car ahead of him, between him and Terra Racer. Terra Racer is in 5th as Ron Zeus finally makes the move into 10th place. And Tipson drops to 11th. As he's actually not leaving him alone. Actually, we'll go on board with it actually. Could he make a move? As they're going side by side through turn 5, Ron Zeus has to give him room. Almost touching that curb. That's a dangerous curve to touch. But right now, Tipson drops to 11th. Ron Zeus moves into 10th place. Back to the battle for 3rd place though. As we're on lap 31, soon we'll be starting lap 32. Not that many laps left this race. If Lewis Marshall wants to take the win of this race, he's going to have to pick up the pace now. Gap 2.1 seconds. Sempi then in 4th. Still, look at how close the Alfa Romeo then got on the final corner, but it just doesn't have the straight line speed. What about Sempi now on the Red Bull? The Red Bull hasn't got DRS, so the move on the Red Bull should be quite easy now. And he's possibly going to send it, not at the moment, has to wait his turn. As we're on board further behind. Any overtakes at the moment from Snitzel and Tipson? No, not at the moment. As we go back on board with Khalifi, who's currently leading this race on a mission right now. See how close Effie then gets. Oh, almost touched that curve. That can really unsettle the car. Oh, Lewis Marshall didn't actually get a nice chicane entry there. He's now 2.6 there. He's losing time. Is Lewis Marshall possibly in jeopardy getting a puncher on those mediums? We did see people go mediums to 15 laps. So he should be safe, but those mediums look like they're starting to die off on his car. And there's yellows further behind. That's Ron Zeus. Ron Zeus has gone into the wall, and that is front wing damage and no safety car. That is lucky for Khalifi, because if that was a safety car, that would have ruined that gap he has built. I'll go back to Thomas then, and Senfei still battling out for third place. Senfei's still not close enough, and he's holding his own. Has he actually got wing damage on that Haas? No wing damage actually on it. It looked like he had wing damage, but the car is looking good. As this is getting really tense now between all the way from 3rd to 9th. And I feel sorry for Felix. He's in 7th place and he can't make anything work. He can't get past at the moment and do nothing unless sort of 80% he actually almost lose it there through turn 4 as we're on lap 33, almost on the penultimate lap. See the massive train leading from the Red Bull all the way to the Ferrari. Tipson's actually not that far off. He's actually now in the train with Schnitzel within DRS's range as well. So now they're starting to close up on this fight. Lewis Marshall's gap now to him and Thomas is 2.1 seconds. However, the gap between him and the lead is 2.8 seconds. And Lewis Marshall does have 6 seconds worth of penalties. So that isn't good if you wanted to try and win, in case Khalifi has 0. I've got to give Lewis credit though, he has managed to pull away on those mediums. 13 laps now, has won the penultimate lap of this race. Next up we will be on the final lap of the race. There's a bit of a lock there from the Red Bull. There's the Red Bull's tyres starting to die off. He's done 21 laps on those hards. I don't know how long the hards can last. But look how close MP's closed now. He's done 18 laps on those hards. And the mediums behind him will now start to struggle on pace. They'll be basically equivalent to the hards right now. Seppi there is really closing up now. He's getting really tasty into turn 5. He closed a lot of time. So let's see how much he does gain then in the S section. See how he takes it compared to Thomas. He's struggling on dirty air in the S section, which is actually costing time, a lot of time. So it looks like that Red Bull's more planted to the ground. As he's closing up, locks up there on the Red Bull, closes a lot there. So if this is it now, Sanford needs to get this position if he wants the podium position right now. He knows he can possibly get it. As is yellows, that's the McLaren retired. There will be no safety car or VSC. This is the final lap, so Ron Zeus has binned it into turn 4. Will finish in 12th place. Not 13th since it's the AI. But here comes Thomas and here comes Sevi now. Makes a move on the inside and it takes 3rd place at the moment. What about the Red Bull though? He's still thinking about challenging him on the outside. What about Tyrese? Could he possibly challenge these two, making moves late in this race? Tyrese is thinking about going on the outside. Not at the moment. The Red Bull there plants the door close in the tight turn there, or turn 2. And Sevi there takes 3rd place. He's finally got the position. He was just waiting for the right moment, and it's the best moment he's done, and he can pull away right now. Just hopefully he doesn't bottle, as we keep an eye on the leader as well as we keep an eye on this fight for 4th now, as the Mercedes and the McLaren are getting a bit impatient and want to get some positions moving. Sneaky there, trying to possibly make a move on Terra Racer, but backs off it. However, though, we are going to go aboard with the race leader, a person who said he wasn't possibly going to win another race after Austria. Oh, he said he wasn't going to win Hungary, but right now he could win it on track. But will penalties change? Oh, Finley's gone off. Finley has lost a lot of time. And here comes Khalifi. He takes the win. What about Lewis Marshall? Lewis takes 2nd. and Sempi will take third, with Thomas actually taking first, Terrace taking second then in the end. Lewis Marshall taking third, Schnitzel fourth, Finley fifth, Sneaky takes sixth, Felix Negbois seventh. Wow, that went really quickly. So Schnitzel takes fourth, Finley fifth, Sneaky in sixth, Felix seventh, Thomas is in eighth, Diego Giller in ninth, Sempi in 10th, and I believe Tipson rounds up the grid in 10th place actually. So Sempi actually drops all the way to 11th, I believe. There's the man, tops of the pudding yet again. The AlphaTauri of Khalifi takes another win, 2 wins in a row. Now, he was said he was surprised that he got a win at Austria, said he probably won't win at Hungary or even get a podium, just hoped to get points, and he takes the victory with Lewis Marshall in third and Teresa takes second place. Here is the official grid then. Khalifi takes the win. Teres in second, Lewis Marshall third, Schnitzel fourth, Finley finishes in fifth, Sneaky in sixth, Felix Negbois is in seventh with only 1 penalty. Thomas is in eighth, Diego Geller in ninth, Tipson drops to 10th, Sempi finished on third on track, unfortunately had 15 seconds worth of penalties and drops to 11th and still doesn't score Haas's first point. Ronzu who DNF'd unfortunately, got 12th on the 90% rule. Raf didn't get 12th since she rage quit quite early on, and she is actually 13th, but DNF'd. Verheyen unfortunately DNF'd as well. Jerry DNF'd, Big Boy during DNF, and AJU. Big Boy during AJU will be investigated by the stewards, and Cooper rounds up the grid in 18th place. Well, we will invite the top 3 for podium interview. And then I have sent them interviews for the top 3. Teresa has joined first.
Hello.
Good evening. And Lewis Marshall then has joined next. Oh, and then left again. He has returned though. Well then, Teresa, we will start off with you. We're finishing in 2nd place.
Yeah.
Your race didn't really go to plan, I don't think, because you were at first. I believe you qualified, and I think you were looking for the win, and even I thought you were actually going to run off and win the race today. How do you think your race went?
Yeah, until the safety car, everything basically went perfect. I just got a good start, and I could relatively easily control the pace to Sneaky, it was. And I didn't have any, I believe I have 1 warning until the safety car, and all the guys behind me had penalties, so I thought it was pretty easy going. Until the safety car, and then I decided to pit. But I just got behind the hard runners and I couldn't pass them, so that basically ruined it. But besides that, it was pretty much a perfect race.
Yeah, I've got to say that those guys who did stay on the hards of Thomas and Sempi, they were a pain to trying to get past basically, and Sempi was doing a great job defending against you with the DRS. But do you think possibly they ran low aero packages to help you?
Yeah,
unfortunately, to not get the position.
Yeah, Seffi was like a rocket on the straights. He was just so quick. Yeah, of course I was a bit unlucky that Seffi got the DRS, so that would have made it a lot more easier, of course. But yeah, maybe if it was just one, I would have gotten past. But once they were two and he got his DRS, it was just basically impossible for me.
Well, that's true, of course. Unfortunately, Sanfi did finish third, but unfortunately had 15 seconds worth of penalties, which dropped him into 11th, and Haas still don't score points. However, though, for the final question then, which is Britain for next week, how do you feel you're going to be around that track?
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. I won't have too much time to practice this week, but we'll see. I think it can be a good race. I think I've got my first ILR podium there, so we'll see. And I want to give a big shout out to Ginger for being a great race engineer. Yeah, he deserved it today.
That's great to hear then. Well, thank you for the podium interview. Congratulations on your second place. Fortunately, you didn't get the win, but second is better than third or fourth. But congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well then, we'll start with the third place driver and we'll go on with our winner last then. Well, Lewis Marshall, you
hello.
Yet again finished second on track, had penalties, couldn't get the win, and you got beaten by the guy who you said robbed your win last week. How did your race go on as planned, as we did see you make actually an early pit stop in the race?
Oh, the start of the race was shocking. And after the first corner, it was 3 wide, as me and McLaren and Dewin, and Dewin just gave us no space and just killed us all. So I pitted in for mediums with a wing change. Then I think the safety car was out, and Cooper's car was like desynced or something and just crashed into me, gave me more damage, and gave me a stop go penalty. So I had to pit in again. But then I was in last on hards, and after that I was just stuck behind people. I think I was behind Khalifa for ages on hards. So then I went in for the undercut, then the safety car just came out perfectly. Well, not perfect, because it was more perfect for Khalifa. Yeah, I'll take third after from last.
Oh, it's true, you did start the back after with the damage, of course. I did actually see that desync with you and Cooper. I thought actually Cooper just went straight into you, and there was a bit of issues.
That's what I thought as well.
There was a bit of issues with drivers. Also, Jerry actually got beached in the pit lane entry. I don't know if that was him making that mistake, and then he reset the track and then DNF'd and left.
I just saw him buried in the wall. I just found it funny.
Yeah. But also with Big Boy June, did you think he was a bit of a danger on track today, because he actually had a collision with his teammate, which then resulted in his teammate slowing down and crashing into him? So do you think he was a bit of a danger on track today?
I didn't see what he did to his teammate, but from the first lap, that was just not right. He needs to give more space. He just created a huge pile-up.
So it's great, to be honest, Lewis. Well then, I'll ask you your final question then, which is Britain for next week, your home track. How do you feel you're going to do there? Do you think you're finally going to get a win, or do you think you're going to get another second place and Khalifi storm in for another win, or Terrorist taking the win?
I'm not expecting much out of Silverstone. I love the track, but I just can't be quick there for some reason. So a top 6 would be cool, but yeah, not expecting much, unless if it rains, which never know. But
it is Britain.
Yeah.
Well then, thank you for that podium interview, and thank you for filling us in with the information of some drivers and that. And congratulations on your third place. Unfortunately, you lost your second place by penalties. But hopefully you can have a better result next week.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Alright then, we will go on board with the race winner then. Yet again, Khalifi, you got a second win, and you told me last week you weren't actually expecting a win or podium in today's race. And how happy are you for this victory, and how is this motivation going to help you through the season?
I mean, yeah, I didn't expect a good result. I would have been happy. I was telling my teammates before the race, I would have been happy the top 5. But I saw the start, the safety car, no one pitted, so I was like, I've got the result in the bag. And then got a penalty, was a bit worried. And then the second safety car saved me again, so I think more luck was on my side.
Well, yeah, I've got to give you that. A bit of luck and a bit of few instance, but even still, on those hard tyres, you were pulling away from Lewis a little bit, and then you went on mediums and you pulled away from Lewis, and Lewis at the one part was actually closing on you when you were actually trying to get past Thomas on the hard tyres. When you were actually fighting Thomas and seeing Lewis in your mirrors, were you worried that he was possibly going to get a good exit out of the final corner and challenge you and Thomas and possibly go 3 wide into turn 1?
Oh yeah, definitely. I knew I wouldn't have been able to overtake him until DRS, so I was just hoping I wouldn't get close enough until it was activated. So I had to watch both forwards and backwards.
Well, then I've got to actually also say you're doing excellent in the championship at the start of the season. 2 wins in a row and beating Lewis and Teresa again. It's got to give you a lot of, how do I put it, a lot of happiness and motivation to try and keep doing that every race, winning every race, you know, possibly with the championship. How do you see now in the championship fight? Could you be there with a bit of luck, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, after the first 2 races, I feel like I do have a shot at the title, but still too early to say anything. So just gonna have to take it 1 race at a time.
Okay then. Well, I'll ask you one final question with Britain next week. How do you feel you're going to be there? Possibly another surprise win or podium, or just some points for the AlphaTauri team?
I think I'm just gonna stick to what I said last week and say I'm not expecting too much. Like Praga said, love the track, but in league racing I've never really had any good results there, so fingers crossed I can do something good.
Okay then. Well then, thank you for the top 3 for joining the interview and congratulations on your positions. Well then, this has been PSGL Season 26 F6 Round 2. Apologies that I got the title name earlier, Round 1 earlier. But it's been a great race to watch. A few incidents, a bit of cheeky drivers making silly mistakes. But if you want to see more content, do join PSGL channel for tomorrow for the F1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 tiers. They'll be racing tomorrow. And the FP tier, which will be racing on Tuesday. But if you want to see more F6 content, join us next week. Same time, of course. By comms by me, IRL Neon, or as Jared Fosbury as people know me by. Have a great day and see you guys next time. Goodbye.